TV. I'm Ali T and welcome back to week 2 of your split series. So if you haven't already watched week 1, make sure you go back and watch week 1 split series so you're all ready to stretch for week 2 and you don't injure yourself. So the plan from here onwards is to do week 1 first and then week 2 afterwards. And week 1 is only 5 minutes and so is week 2. So now you've just got 10 minutes of stretching each day, nice and simple, and then you'll be ready to get into your split. So let's get on with it. We have 5 flexi stretches for you today, because it's always a flexi in 5 to get you into splits. As you know, you'll already be nice and warm from your week 1 stretches, so we're ready to go straight into it, into our week 2 stretch with a downward dog hip opener. So this one's quite a funky one. You're in downward dog position because we're coming straight from week 1's stretches, so you're already stretched out. Abs nice and tight, hips are up towards the ceiling, pushing the chest towards the legs to really open up the hamstrings. There is no glamorous way to show this one, but you put all of your weight onto one leg, you take your other leg up so it's straight, then bend the knee and lean over the top of your downward dog, keeping your shoulders as square as possible. And you should really feel it through the hip flexor of the leg that's in the air. And we're stretching the whole body here. And the reason that we're doing it on all fours and stretching our hip flexors like this to begin with is again to keep you nice and warm to begin your stretch sequence. So that's move 1. Downward dog hip opener. And as always, just in week 1, we are holding it for between 40 seconds and a minute. Nice, then relax it down. We're gonna bring it into a big runner's lunge. So you're gonna take a big lunge forwards, but bring your arms up. So your abs are nice and tight, chest is lifted, and we're squeezing the glutes and pushing the pelvis forwards. So we're not sinking down into our lunge, we're staying up nice and tall, pushing the pelvis underneath, pushing forward, squeezing with the glutes, so you can really feel it through the hip flexor of the back leg. That's what we're trying to do. So no sinking down. If you want to keep the abs engaged and lift your arms up overhead to help, then you can really feel it through that hip flexor and just hold. Lovely. So again, keeping everything tight in this isometric hold is going to keep that heart rate up and keep your muscles nice and warm while stretching. We're not just sitting down on the floor, cooling down. Keep everything engaged. Keep that breath going. Nice deep breaths. Lovely. And then relax. Good. From here, we're going to bring it into a triangle. So you're going to straighten both your legs out, bring the back leg in slightly, and keep both feet forwards. Very similar to like a yoga flow this, but it's more of a flexi flow to get you nice and stretchy. You're then going to place your hands as close to the floor as possible. If you can't place them on the floor, either place them on your quad of your top leg or on the shin. Don't place it on the knee because you don't want to put any pressure through the knee. So the plan is to try to get your nose to your toes, which is pretty much impossible, but that's what you want to do. We don't want to be curving over trying to get our nose to the knee, a lot of people say, but you want to try and get your nose to your toes and your chest to the knee is the aim. Good, and we're going to take it into a little ballistic stretch here. So you're going to come down, we're going to lunge down, then come up. Lunge down and come up. And you can do 3, 2, 1, stretch it up. 3, 2, 1, stretch it up. And each time you're coming up, you're going to try to get your chest a little bit close to the knee and your toes, your nose a little bit closer to your toes. That's it. And as you're coming down, you can probably feel that stretch through the back hip flexor. One more time. And as you're lifting up, you'll stretch through the hamstring. And you can already see that you're in that split position. Good. Then come down into a low lunge, drop the back knee, and release the back foot. We're taking it into our next stretch. From here, you're going to come up. All of the weight again is through your front leg, but instead of sinking into it and thinking that you're getting really low, that's just going to stop you from having a stretch because you're just going to reach your maximum flexibility. I'm going to push up a little bit. Again, tuck the hips underneath, squeeze the glutes and push forwards so you can really feel it through the back quad and the back hip flexor. Rather than sinking right down as low as you can go, thinking that you're super flexible, It's not about that at all. It's about really isolating the hip flexor and getting into that muscle. So we're getting a little bit lower and a little bit more progression into the hip flexor than in that high lunge that we just did. And again, hold. Good. And then we're going to sit back. Last stretch in our flexi series. Sit back into a half split. Really hinge from the hips. Again, it's not about sitting all the way back and thinking that you're super flexible. It's about finding the right position for you to feel the stretch in the right place. So you want to tilt your pelvis back, lean forwards over the top of your leg, again toes to nose, chest to the knee, and feel it through the front leg hamstring. So that's the stretch here. Again, don't put any pressure on your knee, just keep pushing back, and I can really feel it through the hamstring. If you want a little bit more stretch through the calf, then flex the front toe even more. Again, you're keeping the breath going. Nice deep breaths. And then to finish, we finish in a dynamic stretch, forwards and backwards between those last two stretches. And you can use these dynamic stretches to keep your muscles really warm, keep the blood circulating through the muscles, keep the body nice and loose so the joints are really juicy. Good, and you can feel it between each stretch, and you can get lower and lower and lower in dynamic stretches. So you don't have to push it to an absolute extreme. You're just pushing it to almost the limit and then stretching it out. Good, and here on your first side, you can try the splits, because that's the whole aim. This is the place, this is the position that you're going to go into splits. Again, doesn't matter if you're nowhere near the floor. Just go to as low as feels comfortable to you. You can place your back knee down and relax. That's your first side. Good, well done. And hopefully you're a little bit closer to splits than you were in week one after doing week one's videos every single day last week. So, now you know the stretches. We've got to do it all on the other side. Same thing, you're coming down, but you should feel nice and flexible through your first side. Walk your hands out into a downward dog position. Lift the other leg high, straight up, bend the knee, and take it over the top of the body. And again, this isn't really a Instagram worthy position. It's just to get that hip flexor open. So it doesn't matter how high up your leg is at the top. It's just wherever you can feel the stretch. So don't worry if you don't look like how you think you're supposed to look when you're doing it. It's whatever is functional for you. Nice deep breaths. Really bring it over the top. Try to keep the shoulders square. And then relax that leg down. We're coming all the way through into a big high runner's lunge. Good. Abs are tight. Bringing the arms up. Remember that it's not about sinking as low as you can into that lunge. It's about staying high. Tucking your pelvis underneath. Pushing forwards and feeling it through the hip flexor, holding it high. Nice deep breath, you can really feel it pulling on the hip flexor and all the way down the front of the quad. Good, excellent, fantastic. Then we take it into our triangle. So you're going to straighten your legs out and you're going to place your hands as low as you can go. Good. So the legs are straight, hips are straight. So what people try to do on this one is again cheat and turn their hip out and think that they're doing it. But this isn't about, again, being Instagram worthy right now. It's about trying to get those stretches so that you're ready for splits, so then you can be Instagram worthy. So turn those hips so they're facing the toe and then come over the top. So you can really feel a stretch through the front leg hamstring, rather than thinking that you're more flexible and trying to reach in your toe by turning those hips outwards. Keep them facing down and reach that nose to the toes. So I can really feel a deep stretch now through the whole of the back of the front leg. Good, and then again, we can take it into our more dynamic stretch to get a little bit deeper. Just go as low as feels comfortable for you. Good. And each time you stretch it out, you can get a little bit deeper. Fantastic. Good. And then bring it down, drop the back knee, and come down into your low lunge. We're almost there. You're on your penultimate stretch. Good. Again, instead of sinking down, stay upright, tuck the hips underneath, push forward and feel it through the hip flexor on the other side. Nice. You can take the arms high, keep that heart rate up. Anytime you lift those hands up above your head, the heart has to work a little bit harder, and that's when you get that cardio burn as well in there. So it will start to burn fat as well as you stretching out, so you'll look nice and long and lean with a perfect posture. Good. Then sink back into your last pose, the half splits pose. Tilt those hips backwards and really sit back over the top of the leg, nose to toes again. Nice flat back. Try not to curve the spine, flat back, and push the pelvis back. Nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good. Every time you inhale, come up a little bit, ease the pressure. As you exhale, get a little bit deeper into that stretch. Good. One more time, nice deep breath. Exhale. Good. And then now you're on week 2. Give those splits a go and see how much lower you are in splits in comparison to week 1. And there we go. Once you've tried splits, make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe so that you know when week 3's video is coming out. So this week I want you to do week 1's video, then week 2. So 10 minutes for stretching each day, and that is going to get you closer to splits. So once you subscribed, you will also know when week 3's video is coming your way.